next level.
Hello, hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. This is Coach Tiffany Parra, editor-in-chief of Phoenix Fitness Fanatics magazine, elevating your mind, body, and spirit. Today, we have a featured business spotlight, and this amazing woman is going to be taking center stage with me on the Own It Publishing platform. I'm going to go ahead and invite my good friend on in. Come on in, Michelle. Good morning, Michelle.
Hi, Tiffany. How are you? Hi,
I am
Phoenix Fitness Fanatics.
I'm so well. Oh my goodness. I'm so excited to have you on. Everybody, this is Michelle Renee Alexander-Druitt. She is the founder and CEO of AuSome Families Special Travel. Oh my goodness. And you also have a couple of other businesses and things that we're going to speak
Yes,
about as
ma'am.
well. So Michelle, please tell our audience where you're from.
I am from Harlem, New York. I was born and raised here in Harlem.
Okay. Okay, very good, very good. So look, you got the
Yes.
West Coast meeting the East Coast. So
Yes, ma'am.
oh, awesome. Well, you do some amazing things out in the community. And I just want to just know, I mean, because you are an advocate for autism and also for, caregivers of, children and, adults and
Parents, women,
all
just
ages.
I advocate for
Just
everybody.
okay, exactly. So exactly, like how and why did you become this advocate that you are today?
Well, people have asked me that, and I used to have to think about it. And then the honest answer is I didn't become an advocate. Advocate found me, so to speak. Out. My
Wow.
youngest son, who is now 26, was diagnosed when he was 2. And after the diagnosis, my husband and I, we started looking into programs and this and that. And we have this amazing place in New York called YAI,
Mhm.
and it's the center for adults with disabilities. And we started going to support groups there. And I was the only mom, I think, that was a stay-at-home mom. You know,
Mm,
at the time, my mother was in the early stages of Alzheimer's, so we had her, and
mhm.
so you know, I never went back to work. I used to work for Covenant House. I never went back to work after Kevin Ellis was born because my mom moved in with us, and then I always talk about how God is strategic, and so I went right from that caregiving for my mother right into caregiving for my son.
Mm.
And so when we used to go to the meetings and support group meetings, uh, and talk about certain topics and things that we didn't know, when I came home, my husband had bought me a computer. He did that just to keep me quiet, and it worked. So I used to get on the computer, and I used to be pouring over information at night. And he also bought me a printer.
Mhm.
I used to get the things printed out and write my name and phone number, and that's how my advocacy began. I didn't even know that I was advocating when I was advocating. Isn't that something?
Wow, that is something. Wow, that was on your heart,
Yeah,
and
that was on my heart. That was in my spirit.
yes, yes. Now, what do you feel is the biggest challenge in being a caregiver?
The biggest challenge being a caregiver, believe it or not, is not the person that you're giving care to.
Mhm.
It's the caregiver. It's me. I'm my biggest challenge. I say that because my son is absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
However, this is the thing. As his mother and as the mother of someone that has a special need, I feel that I'm doubly protective or overly protective. So, some of the things that he he's capable of a lot. Let's just,
Yeah.
I found that out. And I think it's more or less me dragging my feet. Not that I don't want to be independent. Honestly speaking, like I said, and I've said before, and it's
Yeah.
true, the world is intolerant and it can sometimes be cruel.
Right.
I don't want my
Absolutely.
son to be subjected to most of it. I know he's going to have to be exposed to some of it, but
Hmm.
I want to protect him from all the bad things, just like every other parent.
Right.
Now I know that
Yeah.
I can't do that. So, okay, example, he took a cooking class, and I said to myself, he
Yeah.
won't be turning on no gas in this house. Because my son, and he roams around, and so I'm just seeing him getting up at night, turning the stove on, leaving it on, kaboom. So I said, you
Right.
know what? When we get to an environment that is a little more supervised, we plan on moving, and we need more space. So when we
Mhm.
get to a different environment and we could like reset, then I will help him because he already has uh services. A person comes in and takes him shopping and talks about cooking and like a companion, but this is also
Yeah.
somebody who is helping him navigate to get to be independent. So uh,
Exactly.
I'm my biggest challenge.
Okay. So when being a caregiver, you're pouring so much into, so much care and so much love into that person. And for you, you had two individuals that you had to do that with. What did, if any, what did your self-care look like, or what does your self-care look like?
Honestly speaking, my self care comes from support. People
Mm,
that know me that say, you know what, we saw you on there at 3 o'clock in the morning, go to bed.
yeah.
Whatever it is, it can wait. I have some of the most amazing women in my network. They're my family. They're my village. That's how I met you, uh,
Yeah. Yeah.
Lady Farley and the FPI network. Oh, and then I have Sestra now. They're coming along, and they're going to be big coming soon. And I
Yeah.
have the groups that I'm in. Uh, One of the groups, I love them. Two of them, they call me Queen Mama, honey, and you cannot
Okay,
tell
Queen
me.
Mama, go ahead.
Queen Mama, and I love these women. The group is Bloodline Queens of God. We do networking. We serve all of these things that I'm in. We serve. Shine, sis. The thing that we do. The, I
Uh-oh.
lost you. Oh,
Okay,
I'm sorry.
you're
The thing
here.
that we do is we're very passionate about helping and supporting other women. Now,
Very important.
and when we're doing that, we talk about the different forms. So my self care is when I'm in the trenches with these women and we're planning events, and
Yes.
also they remind me that I am a caregiver, that I have a very important assignment, a very
Right.
important mission. So they're like, don't be burning that candle at both ends. Cause they
Okay.
was like, didn't you just turn 65? Old lady? you know,
Oh,
um,
look, you
but
stop.
the love and the support is just phenomenal.
Yeah, and
It
that
is.
that is it's so essential to have that,
Right.
that tribe,
Hmm.
just to be able to get to that next level. I mean, it's very important. So I'm so glad to hear
Extremely, yes.
that you have that tribe to fall back on, and anyone out there listening, know that you can't do it alone. You
No,
know,
you cannot. You cannot.
especially
You cannot.
caregivers. Because a lot of times a caregiver will just get so engrossed in what they're doing, and then all of a sudden you start to see the depression and things like that, just with those
Absolutely.
close few
Absolutely.
people that they still stay in contact with, and it's slowly killing them to be a caregiver. So it's so so important to have those people around you to just
Yes.
give you
Yeah,
that
yeah.
reminder that, hey, you know what,
Yes.
you
Yeah.
need rescue.
Everything you said is absolutely true. And that's one of the things why I do what I do too, because I know as a caregiver, sometimes we feel isolated, we feel alone,
Right.
nobody understands us. And one of the things that I always advocate for is the sisterhood. I've been running up and down, screaming on social media, sisterhood is going to save the planet because I believe that it will. It is.
Yeah,
It does. It is. I mean, it's doing it now. We see the evolution
absolutely.
of women, of where we used to be and where we are now. Um, and of course, we're always going to face new challenges. But I just believe that sisterhood is going to save the planet. Now, I'm not going to get on here and be talking about the men and oh, they're this and they're oh, they're
Oh
that.
no, we
All
love
I'm
them
saying
too.
is no, because that's not part of what sisterhood is.
That's
I want
right.
to encourage our sisters to partner. Don't do it alone, to partner and stop romanticizing and fantasizing everything in the forefront. Get the foundation first.
Right. Right.
Understand that person that you want to partner with, find some common ground, be able to communicate, and then we can do butterflies and angels and hearts and wings and stuff. That should come after. Stop don't get me wrong. I love weddings and all these other kind of things, but I see they're more wrapped up in the wedding than they are the actual marriage. And I'm like saying to myself, I'm gonna pray for them.
Right.
I'm gonna pray for them. I was surprised when I got married and had children because I swore that I would not. So I'm a widow now with two sons. Both of my sons are amazing.
Yes, yes. Well, Michelle, we are going to cut to a quick commercial break. But before we do, we want to say good morning to Heather McDowell. She's listening in on LinkedIn, and she comments that she was meant to hear this today. So thank you so much for tuning in, Heather.
Thank you.
And we will be right back. All right, and we are back. This is Phoenix Fitness Fanatics Magazine taking center stage on the Own It Publishing platform. And we have the lovely Michelle Renee Alexander-Druitt here today talking about being a caregiver. And we're going to actually get into talking about her book right now in a little bit about autism as well. So, Michelle, let's talk about this book. So, the
About
book
what?
is your book. Let's talk about your book,
Oh,
Captain May I.
Tiffany, I said I like to write, but never did I ever imagine that I would write a book. I have a I have a business coach. She has turned out to be a personal friend as well. And she says, you need to tell your story. I said, all right. No, I'm not going to. She says, okay. So, and she never mentioned it again. And we were just talking, and my son happened to be coming in for his program. He doesn't like phones. He doesn't do all that. Anyway, he sat down here with me because he was nosy. He wanted to see what was going on. So when he finally left, he doesn't stay long anywhere. Finally, she said, you know what? Y'all are funny. You need to write that book. Listen, people need to know and see and hear because, when they think of caregivers, like you said, the things like isolation and all those things are part of being a caregiver.
Mhm.
I wanted to talk about the serious stuff as well as the stuff that's funny. I've had people come back to me and say, "You are a pip." That book had me laughing and crying because you know what, too? There are a bunch of teachable moments in that. I wrote the book in the hopes that every caregiver that picks it up will, first of all, tell a friend or buy 2 or 3 copies.
Yes.
Um, I want them and I want the world to see that caregivers need love too. And there are many, and there are many facets to us. It's just that the thing about it is that we don't get to show any side but the serious side because it's always you know,
Mhm.
that fight for services, that is no joke. Now,
Right.
New York is one of the places where services, resources are in abundance. And
Hmm.
I go after everything I hear about. And I tell everybody, say, you know what, stay connected to the professionals so that
Right.
you can reach back and say, you know what, hey, what's new? What's going on? Uh, my coach, I told her, I said, you know what, I tell people this, don't get started with me because you ain't gonna be able to get rid of me. If you know what, if we connect, that's it. You ain't gonna be able to get rid of me. And we laugh about that all the time, but she knew that I wanted to tell the story. I told the story from the minute my son was diagnosed, how I had to drag my husband for a year, kicking and screaming before he got on board. You know, the
Hmm.
things that we were up against, the things that we dealt with. So other caregivers would know you're not the only one.
Hmm.
And each of us is an individual. Each autistic person is an individual. Because people say, oh, I know somebody that knows somebody that's autistic. My son, nephew, father, granddaughter. No, 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 no. Now, don't get me wrong. We appreciate you trying to empathize with us. But I have had people tell me about my son that doesn't have an autistic son or daughter.
Hmm.
Another thing, I connected to autistic adults because my son isn't capable of communicating effectively enough so that I can, you know, he's getting there. But
Hmm.
the process getting him there, what I had to do was find somebody that was autistic so I could, it's like getting a translator.
Right.
I connected to autistic adults, and let me tell you something. That was one of the best things I've ever done. They are a challenge as well.
Hmm.
But one thing that I do know is the acceptance thing. It's the tolerance thing. You can't talk about autistic people without including autistic people. How you going to set precedents for them and do all this stuff for them and you don't consult them?
Hmm.
They have a voice and they want to
Absolutely.
be heard. And so that's why I said, you know what? I'm gonna be my son's voice. Let me find out what they're talking about. And throughout the book, I tell support, 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 support. That's all everybody ever hears me say.
Yeah.
And then when they start connecting to other people, then they realize how important that support is. But you know what? You know, we have to do it. We have to give support.
Right.
My mother said, in order to receive a blessing, you have to be a blessing. She was
Yeah, you do.
absolutely right.
Absolutely.
Absolutely right.
Absolutely, Michelle. Wow. So when it comes to autism, what's your pet peeve?
My pet peeve is the ignorance and the intolerance. And by that, people just, well, you know, okay, because of the lack of knowledge, the
Yeah.
lack of knowledge. Then you get these people, they know everything about autistic people because they're mothers, brothers, cousins, fathers, sisters. And all I'm saying is, even though you've been around that person, every person is an individual. But what I always tell them, and even people that have worked with autistic people, say, you need to pick up a book and read about autism so you
Hmm.
can have a foundation and know that each of them, and I've been known to say this too, they are predictably unpredictable.
Hmm.
Predictably unpredictable. I can sit here and say, oh, my son is not going to walk out that door. But if he gets it in his mind to walk out the door,
Right.
he's going to walk out the door. Now, Kevin Ellis, and I call him the captain, he thinks he's my boss. We have a wonderful relationship. We go a lot of places together.
Yeah.
And people are telling me things, oh, autistic people don't lie. They don't do this and they don't do that. I said, well, what autistic people you know? He's told plenty of lies. And he can be disrespectful. I've had to put him in his place and have to put him in his place about things that he said. See, they have the wrong conception of what autism is. All it is a different way of processing.
Right.
They go through the same things we go through. Don't get me started about puberty and all that other kind of stuff, because Mother Nature does not care if you're autistic. That's one of the
Right.
reasons why I'm glad I have a son. So that at least that one component, the transition from the transition into womanhood, I don't have to deal with that.
Yeah.
But of everything else, I mean, my pet peeve is the lack of knowledge and the ability to talk like you know what you're talking about, and you don't.
You know.
And I listen, I've gotten to the point where I just smile and nod my head, because I mean, all I can do is provide the resources. All I can do is provide the information, and it's up to them how they receive it or retain it or whatever they want to do. So,
Right. Okay. Right. We're going to go ahead and cut to another quick commercial break, and then we're going to come back and talk a little bit about your nonprofit.
yay!
We'll be right back. And
We're
we're
back.
back. That I love that. I love that commercial. That commercial makes me dance
Yeah, I
every
was.
single time.
Listen, I've been bopping to your music since we got on here.
Most definitely. Mupo Entertainment,
I
they're
love
on.
music.
So you have a nonprofit. So let's talk about your nonprofit. What's that all about?
Let me tell you something. I'm in the process. I have the vision. I see it clear as day. I am so amazed by how this came about. Now, I'm funny. I have to laugh at myself one time. So I meet all these amazing women online. So one woman, travel agent, her
Mhm.
and I got to talking. And so she was like, "Oh yeah, you know what? Oh, you get all these travel." So I said, "You know what? I'm gonna be a travel agent." This was about a year ago. Maybe a year and change ago. I said, "I'm gonna do this so I can book travel for me and my crew, me and my family."
Yeah.
And then I said to myself, "I'm gonna make a bunch of money, because when the family reunion come, they're gonna all book through me." Now I don't know why I got that in my head, because I've been in network marketing for a while,
Mhm.
and MLMs and all that, and business. And one of the things we know is on in some of those top five things, they will tell you, do not depend on friends and family to support your business.
Right.
Okay, so my intention, like I said, was to book for me and my family, and that was it. But then, a couple of people heard I was booking travel, so I do little things here and there. My business partner and I were talking one day, and she said, "You need to do a special needs trip." And I said, "Huh?" Because mind you now, my former business partner, he died from COVID, Mr. Robert Robinson. Oh, my best friend and mentor and everything.
Oh.
We were going to use our profits when we partnered with the sanitary company. We were supposed to be partnered with a sanitary company. The name of
Mhm.
the product is Cherish. I don't know who's out there that's ever heard of it. That's a whole other story. But we were in positions to be partners with this sanitary napkin, and we were going to make a boatload of money. And one of the things that we were going to do was we were going to sponsor a cruise for special needs individuals and their families. Well,
Oh.
the deal with the sanitary napkins fell through, and he was working on some other stuff so that we could get back to that point. I went off and I became the boob fairy. That's a whole other story. Um, so while I was around saving women from their uncomfortable bras, he was working behind the scenes doing trying to find manufacturers for the pad and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, he passed away, and all his notes and stuff lost. When she said that, I immediately heard his voice, and he said, "See, I told you." Mind you, now he had been dead for a while, and I said to myself, "Anyway, you keep quiet up there." So I said, "Well, I said, God, what am I supposed to do?" So of course, you're always on social media, running your big mouth. Start a group. Started a group, and little did I know that people were actually. This was something that was a need, a real need, because see, me and my son had been to Bermuda, and we travel all the time, and I know that there. I know a lot of families and stuff, from school and stuff like that. But it never dawned on me that they needed okay, we'll say an organization. They need an organization where they could get travel training, where they could talk to other, and mainly a travel group. So we could all travel in a group. We don't have to hang out every day, but we can travel in a group. So you got that support. So here we circle back around again to support. Tiffany, we went on our first AuSome Families vacation. We went from the 7th to the 11th, and we went to the Bahamas, Royal Caribbean. Amazing. Amazing.
Yes.
Again, the support from the network. And this woman in Chicago, Felicia, I told her, I said, you got to be on my board of directors. She has a group of women in Chicago. So anybody's out there that's in Chicago, contact me or Miss Felicia, because we're setting up for 2024 right now. But I had people, because I was trying to get T-shirts and this and that is this and that, this and that. And I had people say to me, okay, how much are the shirts? What do you need? So I don't want a company. I want something where people can help me help other people. Because if I had to allow them there tomorrow, I would set up the 401(c), but I would say, okay, that's nice, but I don't need you going.
Right.
The thing that I discovered is there is a hole, especially when these families want to travel. Then, to show you how well and how strategic God is, I had met a woman 2 years before named Tiffany. Her name is Tiffany too. It's Tiffany Towers. It's a long story behind her, but she is building a special needs mini camp and resort. And we have been talking way before this. So when she and I started talking, and she started talking, she's running around now because we are partners. My 501(c) is not set up yet, but I'm in the process of doing that, getting the website and all of that. She said she went and she met with some government people, and they were talking about funding and stuff like that. And she said, what, you need to talk to my partner, because she will tell you that God is strategic, and you don't worry about things that you don't have any control over. The funding is going to come. I'm not going to shut up until it does. So, with that being said, when we are talking and talking about this and talking about that, and so I see it even more clear. So I said, okay, first thing I need is a website, because people are going to say, what is that? Now I have people that are from the network, of course. I believe in drawing from the network and pouring back in. So as an advocate for women, that, like I said, that's how I met you, through Lady Cleopatra, because I put up posts for people, their business, their this, they that. If I know somebody that needs your product or service, and you know what, that is why I'm blessed.
Right. Yeah.
There is enough for everybody. This mission that I'm on is for what I like to call a forgotten community, because sometimes I think that it is. See, I have a huge family. My family loves my son. They run over me to get to him. My sisters and everything, and I just want to be able to help other families have that. We don't have to be related by blood. We got on that boat and we had an amazing time. We didn't spend every waking moment together. I said, could we please have dinner the first night and dinner the last night. Everybody agreed to that. We ran into each other. We sat down. When we saw each other, spent a few minutes, and everybody went on about their business. Now, I'm not saying that that's how it has to be, but what I'm
Yeah.
doing is providing you with an option. If you don't have nobody to hang out with that day, you can come and find me. Call me. Or listen, I'm just around here by myself. Come hang out with me. Support. I
I
love
love
it.
that. I love
I
that,
love it too.
Michelle.
I
I
love it.
mean,
I love what I'm doing.
you are just such a blessing, such a blessing. And we've got some comments coming in as well. God bless you for speaking out and being real. They said they have special education friends, and I admire their attention to children with autism. You are a gifted soul and doing wonderful things. May God bless you and your
Thank
family.
you.
So
Prayers are always
that's
welcome and
Facebook
always
user.
needed.
Thank you so much. And we also have a LinkedIn user saying, "As long as you believe, dear, it will come." So thank you all for tuning in as well. So Michelle, you
Yes.
mentioned the boob fairy, so I kind of
Girl,
heard that. I got to bring that on back in
let
here.
me check. Let me tell you about the Boo Fairy. I have. I'm gonna have to write another book. I'm gonna have to. Growing up, I grew up in a family of top heavy women. Everybody had heavy tops. It's curvaceous. And as I got older and as it got annoying, when I first went into business, it didn't dawn on me. The first thing that I wanted to address when I got into business was the menstrual cycles because I had horrible cramps. So I said, now I'm an advocate for women. I'm going to address the issues that women have. And I was militant about it. And as I was doing all of this advocating for women and get a natural sanitary napkin, by the way, ladies, stop messing with the tampons and that other stuff. That's a whole other different
We're gonna have
interview.
you come
But
back on the show for
please,
that.
yeah, please stick to something natural, and we'll talk about that. If you contact me, I'll tell you all about that. But I love the boob fairy. Out networking, talking to women, just chatting, and we talk about bras and menstrual cycles and men. Those are our three main topics. She got around the bras, and I said, "Oh no, I don't want to talk about no bras. I don't want to talk about those. Those things are hateful because I started developing when I was about 11. That's when I got my period. I
Mhm.
have since then revamped my bra using anything I could find for the shoulders so that the straps wouldn't dig into my shoulders. I went and I got me some sanitary pads and I shoved them underneath there and taped it. If I ever took my clothes off and you saw my bra, first of all, it was something that you couldn't find in the store because I would use my imagination. I had
Yeah.
something underneath here. Long story short, I needed a breast reduction after I had my second son, and I was told that it was not a medically necessary procedure.
Mm.
Mhm.
Wow.
Not medically necessary. So I had to ask the doctor. I said, "You see me, right? Do I look uncomfortable to you?" And so you think I just want to go? So he went to telling me about how I said, "But nobody I know goes under the knife to get rid of their breasts. They all are going to get stuffed." But at the time, insurance wouldn't pay for it. My husband worked for the Department of Corrections, and he said, "Listen, you know what? Knock it off. I'll pay for it." But I was offended because I'm an advocate for women. How dare you?
Right.
God is always watching. So I started to get a little itch. I went and got some ointment and put it underneath there and put it in between here, and the thing got infected. Yay, God. It was on fire. It was the worst thing I'd ever seen. My husband rushed me to the emergency room, and the nurse there was a top heavy lady as well. And she was outraged.
Wow.
And she wrote notes and she did this and she did that. And she left a message for whoever she left a message for. And I had a follow up visit. When I went to the follow up visit, the doctor let me know, said, we are going to schedule your surgery. So they scheduled my surgery, and I thought that this was it. I saw myself in backless, strapless. Oh, I was ready to do my Diana Ross and all of that. But baby, let me tell you something. God had other plans. I couldn't find a comfortable bra because once you have any surgery, underwire is a no-no. And
Right.
I was an underwire queen. Even though they were uncomfortable, they gave me the support I needed.
Mm-hmm.
I got a bra from, okay, I won't tell on them, but beautiful. I was going away. Beautiful. The damn thing, the wire came loose, and like a genius, I took the cap off and stuff like that. Anyway, it scratched. It tore me up.
Oh my God.
So anyway, me and this lady, I was telling her tales. She asked me, she said, "Have you ever heard of bra replacements?" And I said, "No. What is that?" And we started talking, and I said to myself, I said, "She's." So I had an event a few months later. I needed a strapless bra. I knew that was going to be a nightmare. I said, "Let me get a hold of this lady. Let's see if she can put her money where her mouth is, or her straps where her bra should be, or whatever." And I reached out to her. I ended up ordering a strapless piece, put it on, stepped into it. I said, "Oh my God." But now I'm on a fixed income. So I looked at the numbers, and this was all during COVID. I looked at the numbers, and I said, "I got to figure out what." Oh, I joined the company. Mhm. I joined the company so that I could get discounted products.
Nice.
That was the best thing that I ever did because I met another network of phenomenal women. Let me tell you something. There's a
Nice.
network of women out there that hate their bra, and they are amazing, and they're doing something about it. So, and I'm with them. Let me tell you something. The company's name is Ruby Ribbon. And the women that I first started telling about, one of the ladies, her name is Lori Turner. She does promotion or marketing for Lisa Nichols.
Mm-hmm.
And she said she ordered a couple, and then she kept on. She said, "You know who you are?" She said, "You're the boob fairy." And I said, "Excuse me, what?" She said, "The boob fairy." And I said, "Okay." So I went, and no, she sent me. She said, "Send me a picture." Sent me a picture, and she put wings on me and put a wand in my hand. It's a cartoon. So I went after that, and I had the thing perfected. I'm always going to be the boob fairy.
Yeah.
And so, oh, the boob fairy. I said, no, it's the boob fairy. We got to be very careful about that. I'm not the, I am the. So the reward from that is I've had women message me and say, "Oh God, you're a blessing." You know, everything that I'm doing, because I want to help. I just want to help. I just want to help. Somebody said, "Well, what about money?" I said, "Well, what about it?
Okay.
What about? Are you going to give me some? Because you're asking me what about money." See, that's one way to get rid of people too. When they say, "What about money?" What about it? How much? How much you got? And they don't bother me ever again.
I love that,
They
Michelle.
said, somebody said that heifer's crazy. Do you know she asked me for money? No, I didn't ask you for money. You offered it to me. When you asked me what about it, so I'm asking you, yeah, what about it? About it. But
I
the
love this.
the blessings, I amazing family. Uh,
Yeah.
I have friends that I've been friends with for 50, 60 years. We grew up together. Uh, One of my cousin called me after she saw the pictures from the cruise. She was crying. I'm so proud of you.
Oh,
We were both on the phone crying. And then she went back because my family likes to do it. She said, because remember, I really called you because someone told me that my handwriting is beautiful. And then I told them the story. I said, no, you didn't tell them that story. I went to Catholic school. We had to do cursive handwriting. So I made her sit down with me. So she called to remind me of that and to also, but that's the kind of support that I have, just out of the blue. And then, of course, I got a crazy cousin that just calls and curses me out. But that comes with the territory. But I love what I do, and you know,
yeah. You're doing
I love it.
amazing work. You're doing absolutely amazing work, Michelle. Well, look, I tell you, we've gone a little bit over today, but this has been an amazing conversation. please, before we end today, is there any words of wisdom, words of encouragement that you can share with our audience today?
Yes. In order to be a blessing, in order to receive a blessing, you have to be a blessing. Support comes in many forms. And lastly, sisterhood will save the planet.
Yes.
That's it.
Oh, Michelle, thank you so much for joining us today
You are
and
welcome.
being a guest on Phoenix Fitness Fanatics magazines. And we will be seeing Michelle's article actually in the September issue that will be coming out on the 15th of September. So definitely look for that. Ladies out there, you now are connected to the Boob Fairy. So
The Boob Fairy, Tiffany,
if you are top heavy, okay, and you need something that works for you, definitely reach out to Michelle. I have already she's already sent me some links, and I'm looking at some of these camis and some of these different things, and I'm like, wow.
All right now.
Wow. Okay. So definitely connect everyone, and anyone out there that has a autistic or special needs child, please reach out to Michelle.
Please
and
do.
definitely get on these cruises, get on these retreats.
Yes.
Okay?
We're going to be international, Tiffany. I'm telling you.
This is amazing. This is an amazing resource. And, you know, people with autism are people too. And they deserve to do everything that anybody else out there deserves to do. So thank you, Michelle, so much.
You're welcome. It was good
having the heart
seeing
that you
you.
have and for doing amazing
And please have me back. I would be honored. Thank you.
We definitely will have you
Thank
back.
you. Be safe.
Thank you so much for joining us, everyone. And we will see you next time. Take care.
All right. Bye-bye.
Take it to the next level.